What if the language your entire school suddenly started teaching you had never existed anywhere on Earth before that Monday? That's exactly what happened to me. No warning, no permission slip, nothing. The principal just announced over the intercom that second period was canceled and replaced with something called chapelish studies, mandatory for everyone. I turned to my best friend Alex and mouthed, "What is that?" And he just shrugged. Nobody knew. Not even the teacher standing at the front of our room, someone none of us had ever seen before, who was already chalking bizarre, angular symbols across the board like she'd done it 1,000 times. "By tomorrow, you'll have this alphabet memorized," she said, calm as anything. I raised my hand. "What country even speaks this?" "Doesn't matter right now. Just learn it." That night, I searched everywhere. Google, language databases, even cold emailed linguistics professors. Nothing. Chaplish wasn't a real place, a real people, a real anything. It was a ghost with grammar rules, and yet within a week, kids were speaking it in full sentences. That alone should have been impossible. No language gets picked up that fast. But the grammar felt almost designed to slide into your brain without resistance. Alex loved it. "It's easy, and I'm acing it," he told me, like that answered everything. By month 1, Chaplish had leaked out of the classroom entirely. Hallway posters, teachers dropping phrases mid-lecture, kids choosing to speak it at lunch because, and this is the part that unsettled me, they said it made their thoughts feel clearer than English did. I kept pulling threads. I found out 17 other schools in different states had launched the exact same program on the exact same Monday. No shared district, no obvious connection, except a now-deleted Reddit thread where students from all those schools were comparing identical alphabets and identical grammar. I confronted the teacher directly. Why us? Why these schools? Why no explanation? She erased the board instead of answering. Some things are meant to be learned, not understood. Meanwhile, my friends were disappearing into it. Study groups turned half chapelish without anyone noticing the switch. Alex stopped replying unless I texted him in the language. I was becoming the outsider for the crime of asking questions. And worse, I started catching myself thinking in chapelish too, like fog creeping into my own skull uninvited. Then came the advanced textbook. New symbols, older looking, the kind that gave you a headache if you stared too long. Everyone else absorbed them instantly. I understood nothing. The teacher told me progress meant understanding why you're really learning this. When I pushed, she said I just needed to stop resisting. That was the night I woke up with a skull-splitting headache and the shifting symbols still burned behind my eyelids. I had a choice. Keep fighting and lose everyone, or give in and lose myself. I chose to fight, but smarter. My mom, surprisingly, didn't dismiss me. She asked a simple question. Had the school actually followed proper procedure to introduce a new mandatory program? That reframed everything. I stopped asking, "What is this language?" and started asking, "Who approved this and how?" I learned how to file a FOIA request. I started a symptom log, headaches, mental fog, a disturbing click, where the grammar suddenly made sense in a way that felt like my brain had been rewired without consent. I emailed linguists. 2 responded, both stumped. The grammar matched no known language family on the planet. The nurse blamed screen time. The counselor blamed my anxiety and floated medication, as if my questions were the symptom instead of the sane response to an insane situation. My friend group quietly cut me out. Alex told me I was making things harder for everyone by refusing to just learn. Then I found the crack. Flipping through the advanced textbook, I noticed an unfamiliar publisher logo. Digging into it that night led me to an educational assessment technology company with foundation funding that had landed in our district and 16 others right before Chapelish launched. Reddit contacts confirmed identical logos, identical grant timing. This wasn't a language, it was a rollout. A reporter named Camilla found me through a parent's Facebook post and walked me through how to file official records requests with the state. What came back was a stack of documents gutted by black redaction bars, but enough survived to reveal a private foundation, non-disclosure agreements, and something called controlled lexicon assessment, not language instruction, a standardized testing tool disguised as a class, a way to strip away cultural and linguistic advantage by forcing every student into identical rigid patterns. The clarity everyone praised wasn't magic. It was the mental ease of having no room left to think differently. I emailed a school board member, attached everything, expected silence. Instead, he asked to meet, and admitted the board had approved the program without ever being told about the funding or the NDAs. He also didn't know the principal sat on an advisory panel for the very foundation bankrolling it. Undisclosed conflict of interest, right at the center. The administration hit back the way institutions always do, not with answers, but with pressure. A memo banning disruptive organizing. A guidance counselor gently suggesting my stress meant I needed medicating, not listening to. A neighbor's Facebook post painting me as the problem, without ever using my name. So I stopped attacking the program itself. I wrote a petition asking for exactly 3 things: full disclosure of funding and research purpose, truly voluntary participation with no academic penalty for opting out, and real consent procedures going forward. Not shut it down. Just be honest. That distinction mattered. Kids who loved Chapelish signed it too because fairness isn't the same as opposition. I collected over 100 signatures while the administration threatened discipline, which only confirmed how much this scared them. Camilla's investigation dropped 3 days before the school board meeting. My mother agreed to go on record, and on the night of the meeting, the room was packed. Parents, students, reporters, cameras. I signed up for public comment with shaking hands and, when my turn came, laid out the whole timeline. The simultaneous rollout in 17 schools, the redacted FOIA documents, the NDAs, the undisclosed conflict of interest, the missing consent forms. I held up the petition. Board members' phones started lighting up mid-meeting with Camilla's published story. Parents who'd praised the program suddenly stood up furious that their kids had been research subjects without anyone asking. The district's own attorney admitted, under questioning, that the board's original approval hadn't included any of this. The vote to convert Chapelish from mandatory to fully opt-in with real informed consent passed unanimously that night. It wasn't a total victory. Nothing ever isn't, but it was real. The class got redesigned with actual transparency. Enrollment dropped to under half once people understood what they'd actually been part of. I joined the review committee that rewrote the consent process. My mother helped other parents build a standing checklist for vetting future partnerships. Camilla's story went national, cited by researchers and other districts as a cautionary tale. Alex and I found our way back to something like friendship. Different, but real. The kind that survives disagreement instead of pretending it never happened. What stuck with me most wasn't the language or even the cover-up. It was how easily an entire community accepted something because it felt good and worked well, and how much courage it took to keep asking, but is this actually okay? When everyone around you just wants the discomfort to stop.